Hi everyone. If you are an international student, you are already in Canada, or you are planning to come to Canada as an international student in near future, I would advise you strongly to watch this video. Excuse me. It is very important for the students to understand your future once you're inside here. This video discusses those who are already inside Canada. They realize it now after maybe 6 months or maybe 3 months, after in some cases even 1 year or even later than that. But this video will help you to cut time to understand what's going on inside Canada even before you arrive. So if you are one of the prospective students or you are already inside Canada, both of you can watch this video. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you 5 most important points that you need to do or take care of in order to get good. By the way, my name is Rana, and welcome back to Channel for Education. The first and foremost point, the number one point is when you come to Canada, always try to come to a community. Coming to a community college will help you to build your career, build your future, build your future here in a much better way than you are coming to a privately funded career college. When I say privately funded career college, those colleges are eligible for receiving international students. But your students of privately funded career colleges are not eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit. In your words, probably stay back. So it's very important. Many private career colleges are actively advertising, actively marketing in many parts of the world that they are a DLI. The DLI, designated learning institution, just means they can receive international students. DLI number does not give them necessarily the eligibility for their student to apply for a postgraduate work permit at the end of the successful completion of a study program. So when they graduate, they are not eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit. If you are coming to Canada and you are not able to get a work experience that you would most like to, that would be the most reason to come to Canada for many of you. What's the purpose of coming even? So please never ever come to a privately funded career college. Always try to come to a publicly funded community college. Rule number 1. Rule number 2 is while being a student, you have 20 hours per week and more than 20 hours during scheduled breaks. But many students go to unauthorized work. So rule number 2 is never engage or involve in unauthorized work. Never do unauthorized work. Unauthorized work is anything off campus, not on campus, but anything off campus. You're doing more than 20 hours per week while being a student, with the exception of scheduled breaks. Many students do not realize this. They would work more than 20 hours, but in some cases, it is very difficult to reverse that mistakes, or in many cases very difficult to reverse that mistakes. Once you committed that mistakes, that is going to be in your record. So make sure that you will never ever work unauthorized, do an unauthorized work. That's very, very important. Scheduled breaks will allow you to work more than 20 hours. And in some cases, you also have to, in many cases, you will be working unauthorized, you will be doing unauthorized work other than scheduled breaks as well. So when you finish your study program, there's a potential chance for doing unauthorized work. Your changing progress, potential chances. So you need to be very careful with the regulation about your working hours and where, when, and where you can work for how many hours. It is very important to make sure that you are not doing any unauthorized work while being a student in Canada, and you will be good if you do that. The next point is, after being on a postgraduate work permit, we should always try to gain experience on National Occupation Classification Code, NOC 0, A, or B. Never try to work or never try to be in a job that is NOC C or D, except in a province where you can use that experience towards your PR eligibility. Some of the provinces will give their students PR work experience eligibility even if they have a work experience in NOC C or D. You can do NOC C and D in those kind of provinces, but other than those provinces, most provinces and express entry system only recognize your work experience in either of the 0A, B, or 0AB. So those are the three categories of NOC classification where you can freely work without having any worry about your work experience recognition. As I said, in some of the PNPs would recognize your C or D work experience, but you need to make sure that the province where you are doing that work is eligible at the end of your work gaining experience. You should be able to apply for your PR with that experience. That's very, very important. Rule number 4 is you need to improve your English. When you come to Canada from any country, you already have your IELTS academic, but after being in Canada, once you successfully finish your study, and if you have the eligibility to go to the postgraduate work permit, once you are maybe at the end of the postgraduate work permit term, or after gaining 1 or more years of experience, you have to provide a IELTS general English test with your PR application. So from the day one you arrive in Canada, you need to make sure that you need to focus on your language. Many students believe that the language is going to improve by itself. In many cases it is not. So you need to have a special focus on your language ability in order to support your PR application with providing an IELTS or CELPIP score. That's very, very important. Rule number 5 is never retain or never hire a ghost consultant. It is very important. Many students do not recognize the ghost consultant or the authorized consultant or representative. If you would like to hire a representative to represent your application with IRCC, you need to make sure that you are not hiring a ghost consultants. Oftentimes, students who hire ghost consultants are facing misrepresentation charges. So it's very, very important. They will botch your PR status or PR chances altogether. So stay away from ghost consultants. They may charge you very less, but it's better to do it by yourself. It's called DIY, do it yourself. So it's better to do by yourself rather than going to a ghost consultant. If you have problems in representing your own application or filing your own applications, you are difficulty in navigating through complex Canadian immigration law, you should find a member of ICCRC or a member of Law Society. You should never go to a ghost consultant. Whenever you hire or retain a consultant as your counsel, you should always check for their credentials, their licensing, and stuff like that. It's very, very important. Many students are losing their PR opportunity by misrepresenting your application. IRCC will check about your application, and the most of the ghost consultant, and most of the time, because of their inability to represent you, they will tell the IRCC that you yourself are filing their application while they are representing you. It's that in itself is a misrepresentation. So it's very important. You should never ever hire a ghost consultants. So the number, I will sum up the points. The number one point is always come to a community college. Number two, never ever do unauthorized work. Number three, after being on a postgraduate work permit, you do NOC 0, A or B work, or you go for COD work in a province where you are eligible to apply for PR with that experience. Number four is improve your language, get the required IELTS results. And number six, never ever hire an unauthorized consultant. So that's it from this edition. If you like this video, please share my video. It will help a lot of students to navigate through Canadian immigration system, and at least basic knowledge they will gain before even coming here, or those who are inside Canada, they will gain the basics of their PR application requisite. So it's very important to observe all these points. It's take note of all these points, and if you subscribe my video, it would be great. And I'm looking forward to speaking to you with another subject maybe in near future. Thank you very much.